So if I got lots of snow, I can just put snow around it, but the snow disappeared. So see, I got a big gap here, right? So I'll just jam things in to sort of insulate it. Hey, it's Greg here with MaritimeGardening.com, and I thought I would do a video on seed saving as it pertains to biennial plants. So I'm talking about things like carrots, parsnips, cole crops, right? Things of that nature. A biennial is a plant that puts out foliage in the seed germinates. It puts out foliage in the first year, and then it dies back in the fall. And in the following spring, that plant sends up foliage and makes flowers, and the flowers go to seed, and then the plant's done its life cycle, and everything's put into the seed for the following year. So biennial, two years sort of thing. It's a 2-year plant, 2-year life cycle. So some biennials can survive. Where I am here, I'm in zone 6A, but there's not all of zone 6A's are created equally, and I'll talk a little bit more about that as we go along here. But the point is that some biennials can survive the winter here, where I am, in my location, and some can't. So I found parsnips can survive the winter here. Leave them in the ground, don't have to cover them, don't have to do nothing. They're incredibly tough plants, like they're made of antifreeze or something like that, and they can survive the winter. But I found carrots, which are very much like a parsnip in many ways, cannot survive the winter here. And I know there's people in zone 6A that the carrots can survive the winter where they are. I know there's people probably in zone 5 that carrots can survive the winter. But when I leave a carrot in the ground over winter here, the following spring it's completely turned into mush and nothing grows out of it. It is just killed by the winter here. And I think what that is that it's because if you've been following my videos this winter, you'll notice sometimes I'm out here and there's snow, and sometimes I'm out here and you can see the ground, and sometimes the ground, like today, this whole garden is a hockey rink. The ground's covered in ice. So translation is that the soil where the plant is living is frozen, and it's frozen deep here. Basically, the plant is encased in ice. Right? We'll get a snow, and then we'll get a rain, and then everything will sort of melt, and then it'll freeze. Like this morning, it's like minus 11 Celsius this morning, and then it'll warm up to 0 on Friday of this week. Over the course of the day, it went from below 0 to 8 Celsius above 0, and then back down to like minus 7, all within a 24-hour period, if I recall. Correct me if I'm close to reality. I remember getting up as high as 8 Celsius over the course of the day and then freezing again. Just a crazy day. So what that means is that the root of that plant, whatever that biennial is, here where I am, spends a good portion of its winter just encased in ice all the way down. So some plants can't survive that. So the solution, well, let's not talk about the problems, let's talk about the solution. And I guess to speak to people that don't experience that in certain places, even where it might be a colder winter like a zone 5, but even though the winter is colder, maybe it's the sort of climate where it snows and the snow just accumulates and the ground just stays covered in snow all winter long. So that would insulate the ground. The ground wouldn't freeze quite as deep, right? There's places where as soon as the snow melts, the ground is thawed, even though it might have a colder winter, because that ground has been covered in a nice insulative layer of snow all winter long. Whereas with here, the ground can be frozen down a couple feet, just iced all the way down sort of thing. And it takes a long time for that to slowly thaw out. And certain plants just can't survive in that. So I've got my carrots here. And I've done this with kale, and this is my first year trying it with carrots. So I've got a variety of carrot here. I can't remember what it's called, but it's an open pollinated heirloom variety. And this one can stay true to type if it overwinters and so on and so forth. So I've been harvesting them some out of this little thing here, and I've just about used them all up. Today is going to be the last of them. Another advantage of leaving them in the ground over the winter and just harvesting them as you need them, if you have a variety that's open pollinated or heirloom, where you can save the seeds and just, basically get the same thing, it'll stay true to type. The carrot, I've done this with kale. So a lot of varieties of kale where I live, they don't survive the winter. They don't come back the next year. They're just dead. But if I put it in a cold frame or underneath something like this, it can come back the following year. So I'm doing that with the carrots here. So and I've got this here, I always got this sort of like closed up. So if I've got lots of snow, I can just put snow around it. But the snow disappeared. So see, I got a big gap here, right? So I'll just jam things in to sort of insulate it. And well, it's frozen up pretty good, but I can still get, yeah, so there's only like this top top layer of rubbish here, but underneath that, and I can guarantee you the beds that aren't covered don't have this going on. But yeah, I mean, the soil is thawed underneath, right? So the few carrots that I have not harvested yet are living in this, and if I can leave them all alone, they can come back next year and go to seed. So that's what I'm going to try to do. So anyway, long story short, that's the trick to getting a biennial that, you know, I mean, this is all relative to how cold it gets where you live and how effective the microclimate that you've created over that space is in maintaining the soil temperature so that that biennial plant can survive the winter. So I mean, there's limits to how well this will work. It depends on how sunny your winter is, how cold it gets, and just how much of it a successful microclimate you can affect. Also, I mean, the chances are the ones out near the edge of that microclimate will be a lot colder, so you want to save a few that are really close to the center of it, because that's going to be the warmest place. You know, the outer, yeah, the outer perimeter here is pretty, you know, it's frozen pretty solid, right? Even there I can get in. Yeah, so even there I can get in. So, but anyway, my point is that, yeah, you want to sort of leave a few, if it's carrots we're talking about, leave a few around the center, because that's going to be the warmest spot in that microclimate. Anyway, just a few tips. I hope you found that interesting. If you did, please like, share, subscribe. Check out my podcast, maritimegardening.com. Don't forget to click the bell if you want to be notified when I make a new video. And until next time, get out there, get at it, have fun in your garden. Thanks for watching.